on your side. This is News 12 at 6 o'clock.
At-home coronavirus test. You can get them shipped to you and test yourself. Our I-team is on your side trying them out to see how they work. And a family heartbroken after a beloved nurse loses her battle against COVID.
She had so much more to do and so many more people to help and so many more lives to touch.
But they say the community support is unbelievable. But first, a live look over the medical district as we've been seeing storms rolling in tonight. Mikkel?
Yes, those storms have been rolling in tonight for sure. Some of the middle of that line that we experienced moving through the northern CSRA is starting to fizzle out now, but a lot of lightning strikes associated with these cells still out here. We actually have a severe warning impacting portions of Washington and Johnson County right now as well still. And as we zoom in on the Augusta metro area, pea-sized hail being reported in the Fort Gordon area, and as you can see, some really bright reflectivity now on this cell in particular, and that's an indication of some ice possible, and that would be hail. They reported pea-sized hail from the National Weather Service as well, so that is confirmed. Just taking a closer look, McBean, you could be getting on some of that hail next, right to the south of Mechanic Hill. Not ruling you guys out for seeing some pretty heavy downpours and frequent lightning as well. And looking at the severe thunderstorm warning, this does expire at 6:30. This is for impacts of wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour and also quarter-size hail this afternoon. Sandersville, you're getting hit pretty hard right now. And as we move going towards Swainsboro and Kite, some heavier action there as well. I'll have more on that radar and your evening forecast coming up in about 10 minutes.
Thanks, Mikkel. New tonight, students in Warren County will not be going back to school for the time being. The district has decided to go all virtual starting tomorrow. Warren County started school last week on an AB schedule, but in a statement today, the superintendent says just last week there were 35 new COVID cases in the county, a 218% increase from the week before, including one symptomatic case in school. This led to their decision to go all virtual. We have the details of Warren County's new plan up on our website. And more kids will be doing virtual-only learning in Richmond County, too. Over 2,000 more students signed up last week. Now more than 18,000 kids, or 65% of their students, will be completely virtual this semester. By comparison, 33% of kids in Aiken County will be all virtual, and 22% of students in Columbia County signed up for virtual. Nick Proto talked to school leaders about plans going forward.
Dr. Kenneth Bradshaw says the school district was initially planning for about 10,000 students to learn from home this year, but after Friday's extension deadline, that number is up above 18,000, and it could continue to go up.
We'd rather be safe than sorry.
Lisa Klaus has been playing it safe with her granddaughter since the beginning of the pandemic. The second grader has severe asthma, so when the option to learn from home was on the table, her choice was simple.
I known about her future and, got her opinion about it, and she totally agreed with me. Because Gabby had some severe issues in kindergarten and first grade.
For other parents, the choice didn't come as easily. Nearly 2,500 more students opted for at-home learning during the extension period. Some parents point to cases in Columbia County schools as the reason to pull their kids out. Lynthia Ross with the Richmond County School System says they've been watching what's happening in the neighboring county, but it hasn't had too much of an impact on their plan for the year.
Do you observe and see what's happening around you? Yes. But our plan was already in place, and we've been moving forward with the plan that we have.
She says all hope is not lost for those who still want to do at-home learning. The district closed registration so schools could plan, but in about 2 weeks, she says the district will be able to provide more opportunities for at-home learning as long as the technology is available.
This is going to be a big thing through all this.
Klaus is prepared to cut her hours at work to make time to teach. She says even though learning from home isn't ideal, it's better than the risk of her granddaughter getting sick.
I feel like they listen better at school. They have more structure at school. There's too much free time at home. So it's going to be a challenge.
Ross says the district is working to become a one-to-one district, meaning at least one device for every child. They aren't there quite yet, so resources may not be available right now for every student to learn from home. Reporting in Augusta, Nick Proto, on your side.
On the South Carolina side, we're just learning in the last 45 minutes, State Superintendent Molly Spearman has now approved back-to-school plans for all 81 school districts. Barnwell District 19 was the last district in our area that hadn't been approved. In McDuffie County, all students will be virtual to start the school year. First day of classes will be next Monday, August 17th. The plan is to be virtual at least until September 4th and could continue as necessary. The school district made the decision after they say spread in the county was substantial, with 117 cases just in the last 2 weeks. We have everything you need to know about the change of plans on our website. In Columbia County, virtual-only students have their first day of class today. Students doing the hybrid schedule started last week, with students going to in-person class twice a week. There has been a confirmed case of the virus in 4 of the county's 5 high schools. Students at Augusta University also started school today, and campus looked much different, less crowded, signs of social distancing. Masks are not required outside, but our crew says most of the students they saw were wearing them. AU says if a student feels sick or thinks they may have come in contact with a COVID-positive person, they have a list of exactly what to do on their website.
So we have specific protocols that are on our website for both faculty, staff, and students, because you are right, we are a large community, and we will have positive cases that we have prepared for as much.
There is some personal responsibility kind of like expected of us. Like my 2D professor actually told us to sanitize our desks before we sit down and after we leave, or before we leave.
AU has a record high, nearly 9,600 students enrolled. Happening right now, a discussion on the Meriwether Monument in downtown North Augusta. City leaders are talking positive. A terrible loss in the community. A local nurse loses her battle against COVID. Yolanda Kaur worked as a nurse manager at AU Health. Her family and friends are heartbroken, but Brady Trapnell tells us the community has stepped up in a big way.
To know that she's the one that gets it and it takes her.
Yolanda Kaur was a bright light in the midst of a dark time, and a glimmer of hope in a season with seemingly no end.
It's hard to articulate Yolanda's presence in your life, in a room, in her profession.
Nancy English was her aunt, and even saying that in the past tense is strange. The healthy 40-year-old mother of 2 no longer with them.
I don't think any of us possess the strength or the comprehension or the ability to wrap our minds around this.
Her co-workers at AU are struggling with the same thing. Kaur went from treating people on the front lines to being treated herself.
The Augusta University team is really hurting right now because of the loss of such a valued team member and just such a wonderful person.
Dr. Kuhl says she left her mark as a positive leader during her 13 years there. By the outpouring of support for the family, there's no doubt more than $75,000 raised, and people are bringing meals to the family until the middle of September.
Augusta community, unbelievable. You're unbelievable. You're inspiring. We are beyond grateful.
The family says they feel lifted and filled with hope, because while on the surface it may look like a dark virus one, lights don't burn out if someone keeps them lit.
We could not be more grateful for having been blessed to have Yolanda in our lives and to provide a light that we promise to carry on for her.
If you'd like to help this family, they did tell me they will need support with child care and medical expenses, and we'll have those links on our website. Reporting in Augusta, Brady Trapnell on your side.
And we are still tracking some showers and storms this evening and afternoon. Also, a check of the tropics coming up after the break.
And at-home coronavirus tests. Our I-team is on your side trying them out. That investigation coming up in 90 seconds.
I have Luke.
Tonight, an all-new I-team investigation putting at-home coronavirus tests to the test. So far, the FDA has given emergency authorization to 8 different companies for tests you take yourself, then stick in the mail. Our Meredith Anderson ordered several of them. She walks us through how they work and asks the experts if they actually work.
You could call it taking one for the team, or rather I-team. Only it wasn't just one. It was actually 4. Oof. These 4. And before we dig any deeper, about 2 to 4 centimeters until resistance is met. It's probably a good idea for this dinner time disclaimer. I'm a reporter, so I'm nosy, but you're about to see a whole lot of this reporter's nose. This one said should not lead to discomfort. Ooh, this one stings though. Add in a little supervised saliva collection. So do you watch people spit in a tube all day? And we'll break it all down for you in the event you might want to try this at home. An expert at AU Health says that's actually a pretty good idea.
We really want to get tested as many people as possible and as quickly as possible.
More from him in just a minute, but let's start with the 4 tests the I-Team tested. Pixel by LabCorp, the COVID-19 test home collection kit by Everlywell, Picture by Fulgent Genetics, and Vault's COVID-19 test kit. It's important to note each one of the tests we sampled has FDA emergency use authorization. Sure, the companies all point that out on their websites and or their packaging, but the I-Team wanted to make sure. We independently verified that by pulling each of these authorization letters from the FDA, and all of them check out. Still, it's important to remember this.
There's not a single test which is FDA approved for COVID-19.
Including the one Dr. Ravindra Kolhe says Augusta University uses at its lab. He's the director of the Georgia Esoteric and Molecular Laboratory and vice chair for translational research in the Medical College of Georgia Department of Pathology. So yeah, he would know.
It'll take 6 to 8 months to do the study.
And that's just part of the process for actual FDA approval. So in the middle of a pandemic, when time isn't on our side, these letters bypass government red tape in exchange for a temporary green light. Speaking of green, let's talk cost, and we'll start with the freebie, Pixel by LabCorp, that requires no upfront costs. They bill your insurance company, and if you don't have insurance, they say, we'll handle that too, through public funding. I didn't pay anything for my kit. This one from Everlywell cost me $109. Picture Genetic, $119. Vault was the most expensive at $150, but Vault has a couple of things the others don't. First, it's the only saliva test out of the 4. And second,
How are you? Good, how are you?
someone virtually walks you through the test on a Zoom call,
I think I'm done.
which was helpful.
No, I have a little bit more.
The instructions are very specific about how much they need, how to tighten the cap, and how to get enough of the blue liquid in your sample.
It's kind of slow going, but it's going.
The rep also walks you through how to pack the tube and sanitize the packaging. All in all, it took about 10 minutes, with no significant wait time on someone to jump on the Zoom call.
Thanks, you too. All right, bye-bye.
I was on my own for all 3 of the other tests. Well, sort of. I-Team photographer Irissa Wheeler was worried I didn't quite get the Everlywell swab back as far as I could have. Did it not look like I did?
It's like you go past the nose hole thing and you go all the way back, practically hitting your brain.
She does have a point when you look at the diagram, so I tried a little harder.
There's a little blood on it.
I did okay. Both the Pixel, which is the free one, and the one from Picture Genetics specify to be a little more conservative with distance.
The foam swab does not need to be inserted far.
Just until it's no longer visible, which I can tell you was a lot more comfortable. But it did have me wonder, are these as effective?
That area of the nose doesn't harbor that much virus particles, so you're not going to get that robust outcome from these tests.
But Dr. Kolhe says that doesn't mean they don't work. He says it just doesn't work as well if someone is asymptomatic. If someone has symptoms, he believes they're probably compatible to another test we've all likely had at one time or another.
The flu test which we do in the doctor's office is not the best test, but we do it on each and every individual so we can quickly isolate them.
Same goes for COVID. However, a doctor or nurse usually administers that test, as opposed to me.
All right, ready?
I am not a trained medical professional.
They want you to break it. Okay?
Dr. Kolhe recognizes that can lead to operator error and perhaps inaccurate results. So he'd like to see the Vault test incorporate a virtual appointment.
The Zoom-based testing is probably, I would say, the ideal at-home testing because somebody's watching you in real time versus you're doing something on your own and you really don't know if you're getting an adequate sample or not.
Which leads us to my 5th COVID test, the drive-through one at AU. That way, I would have a way to compare all my results to something,
I hit something,
a little more official. So, did all the different tests produce the same results? Find out coming up Thursday, only on News 12 at 6 o'clock. Reporting for the I-Team, Meredith Anderson, on your side.
She really did take one for the team because how many of us are scared to take that test because you go so far back, it's scary.
I know, that's what I was saying. It looks painful, so way to go, Meredith, because I don't know if I would have done it, especially that many times.
Yeah, but she helped us see that it can be easier than our worst fears. If you want to check out any of those tests Meredith took, we'll link them to you on wrdw.com. That includes how to order the one that's billed to insurance or covered by public funds. We know that will likely be a popular option. All right, to weather now. Here's a gloomy look over Aiken. Probably best to stay off the roads and inside right now. You're tracking some downpours, Mikkel.
Definitely are tracking some downpours. The Hawks will usually be right there, but they're not even out there this afternoon. I don't blame them at all. Still tracking portions of that line. It has kind of dissipated in the middle, trying to reform just a little bit now, and some light to moderate rain has been left behind that as we look towards portions of the northern CSRA. First, looking at the severe warning cell that we do have down in Washington and Johnson County. Most of the heavy rain has moved from Sandersville now and moving more into Johnson County, as well as Jefferson County starting to get in on some of that heavier rain as well. Portions of downtown Swainsboro, in between Summertown and Swainsboro, you're experiencing some pretty heavy rain right now. Also back towards Kite as well in Johnson County. So if you are out there, make sure you're avoiding any windows and electrical appliances, as I'm sure some lightning is occurring with that storm. Switching things towards Aiken, this storm was impacting downtown Aiken, now moving more towards the south and east, starting to get into Barnwell and Orangeburg counties as well. And New Ellington, in between New Ellington going towards Fort Gordon. A lot of heavy rain still going on out there as well. Hepzibah and Fort Gordon reporting some pea-sized hail earlier that was confirmed. And taking just a closer look, Mechanic Hill, you're not out of the way of that storm as well. You guys are getting pretty pummeled earlier as well. And shifting gears towards Barnwell County and looking at Williston, you're getting a pretty heavy downpour as well. So lots of rain out there to talk about this evening. If you do hear thunder, just make sure you are once again avoiding using any electrical appliances and electronics, period. We are tracking one area of interest in the tropics right now. It has about a 60% chance of developing over the next 5 days. And if it were to develop into a tropical storm, the next name on the list is Josephine. Hard to believe that we are on the J name storm for this time of year. And going hour by hour through your forecast, going through this evening, storm chances lingering with us as we go through 9:30 p.m. and even towards midnight. Most should be dry after we get through midnight and start heading into overnight tonight and Tuesday morning. Around 4 a.m. tomorrow, some patchy fog is possible, so you do want to be careful if you will be commuting tomorrow morning. And as we go through 3 p.m. tomorrow, most should stay dry according to this model, but once again, those showers and storms starting to fire up in between mid-afternoon and dinner time, going into the evening as well. And we could have some showers lingering with us through midnight once again, so you do want to make sure that you keep that in mind if you will be outside. We do have an excessive rain watch or a flash flood risk for today, so we are watching out for some isolated flooding in certain areas of the CSRA, so you do want to keep that in mind. And getting into your 3-day forecast, going through Thursday, those rain chances jumping up for Wednesday and Thursday, a 60% chance for those afternoon showers and storms. Those high temperatures a little bit lower than what we've seen in the past few weeks, right around the lower 90s and a tad below average on Thursday and Friday. Feeling more seasonal by the weekend with those rain chances sticking with us as well.
Companies, I think everyone in this room would